How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, this picture that I have here, somebody did something on the sneak tip, and this picture captures Trump when he's in a room full of fools, a room full of demons, and there's some angels there too as well. But we know Trump is not going to take heed to anything that is right. And isn't it ironic? I took that picture at 8:17. I just realized that looking over there. So Trump looks exhausted. Being a president is not easy. And once Obama became president, he was all up in his feelings. He said, I'm smarter than that nigga. I know that I could do way better than him. Now, he always brag about himself highly. And I had a deep discussion with Lisa Cabrera, and she had shared with me when she was doing her research that Bush number 2 and Bush number 2 and Obama, they were pushing for those two presidents to go after them folks over in Iran. And we know how dumb Bush number 2 continues to be. And he had sense enough and said, nah, I'm not going to have that stain on me. Now, Obama is pretty sharp. He knows the Constitution very well. He knows about foreign affairs very well. You know, he's very astute. But he didn't give a damn about the royal family, I must add that. But he knew the ramifications of targeting them folks over in Iran. And so Lisa said something deep. She said, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump, once he heard Obama's name come on the table, and it's like anything that he hear that Obama has done, he will do everything in his power to undo it, or if anything that Obama has not done, he wants to show up, and show Obama, I'm about that life. No, Trump, no, he made a mistake, but he ornery. But it take a particular type of fool to do what his advisors are suggesting that he do. Now, I did find out that the military and some other folks are pissed with him because he did not go through the proper channels to strike them folks over in Iran. And how I take that is that they all greasy up there, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? These people act like, we have a certain, we got checks and balances, and there are certain things that you are supposed to do, and we're doing it in the proper channel, and we're, all good, decent, moral people. None of y'all is at all. Anybody that's up there, they got a position, they greasy and they grimy, and even our own that's up there is greasy and grimy, and they have been compromised. They are working literally in the pit of hell. Oh, yes. And some know it, and some don't care. Remember what KD said. Some of our folks want to get some crumbs off of Lucifer's plate. And there are consequences for that. And Trump will be forever stained. There is blood on his hands, and he is truly a marked man on the world stage. Now I have this journey that I'm going to take the royal family on, and we're going to get into the current events and the things that have unfolded today. And then I got some juicy nuggets, my royal family. Real juicy. Just hold on. True royal always deliver. So, Trump crawled up out his cave and gave a very dramatic, short speech. Now, this is some major shit, Trump. And you come out and speak for a hot minute and disappear. But I guess, they was training him to, get that right. Or maybe they got something in his ear and they want him to listen real good and just say a few short words and get your ass on. And that's it and that's all. So we will get into this first. So, Trump says U.S. does not seek war or regime change in Iran, but is still ready to act if necessary. Trump, only if you knew.
Executed a flawless precision strike that killed the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world, Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel, but we caught him in the act and terminated him. Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any American. We will find you. We will eliminate you. We will always protect our diplomats, service members, all Americans, and our allies. For years, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and its ruthless Quds Force under Soleimani's leadership has targeted, injured, and murdered hundreds of American civilians and servicemen. The recent attacks on U.S. targets in Iraq, including rocket strikes that killed an American and injured 4 American servicemen very badly, as well as a violent assault on our embassy in Baghdad, were carried out at the direction of Soleimani. Soleimani made the death of innocent people his sick passion, contributing to terrorist plots as far away as New Delhi and London. Today we remember and honor the victims of Soleimani's many atrocities, and we take comfort in knowing that his reign of terror is over. Soleimani has been perpetrating acts of terror to destabilize the Middle East for the last 20 years. What the United States did yesterday should have been done long ago. A lot of lives would have been saved. Just recently, Soleimani led the brutal repression of protesters in Iran, where more than 1,000 innocent civilians were tortured and killed by their own government. We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war. I have deep respect for the Iranian people. They are a remarkable people with an incredible heritage and unlimited potential. We do not seek regime change. However, the Iranian regime's aggression in the region, including the use of proxy fighters to destabilize its neighbors, must end, and it must end now. The future belongs to the people of Iran, those who seek peaceful coexistence and cooperation, not the terrorist warlords who plunder their nation to finance bloodshed abroad. The United States has the best military by far anywhere in the world. We have the best intelligence in the world. If Americans anywhere are threatened, we have all of those targets already fully identified, and I am ready and prepared to take whatever action is necessary. And that in particular refers to Iran. Under my leadership, we have destroyed the ISIS territorial caliphate. And recently, American Special Operations Forces killed the terrorist leader known as al-Baghdadi. The world is a safer place without these monsters. America will always pursue the interests of good people, great souls, while seeking peace, harmony, and friendship with all of the nations of the world. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Well, that's it. That's it. That is it in a nutshell. A 4-minute ass speech. And y'all think whoever your fools is that's advising Trump that you can just kill this man, be about that life, talking about we ain't gonna start no war. Now, many in the royal family that study the word real close, I was going over this yesterday, first thing in the morning, going to the word, not knowing the other events that was going to unfold later that day. So we did a hangout about it. Thank you, Big Mike and KD, for spitting them scriptures. This is very, very serious. This is spiritual. And I would imagine, because he's trying to throw these lugs and digs, especially at Obama. They didn't want to deal with that because they knew the ramifications of it. And it may seem like in their mind, in their psyche, we done saved y'all from some bad folks and, we good. We'll reposition ourselves and, go on about life. No, I've been listening to a lot of news overseas and hearing what they have to say, because this rhetoric that they talking about will make your stomach turn. This is extremely major, my royal family. As we continue on, we're going to get deeper into it.
Richard Engel with us by phone. He's on his way to the region as we speak. Richard, help us understand Soleimani, where he fits in the bigger picture in Iran and how key this is.
Well, this is very key. I think it is a pivotal moment, and I think it could lead to some form of armed conflict between the United States and Iran. An armed conflict that won't look like a conventional war, at least not at first. Iran doesn't fight that way. Iran generally fights through its proxies, through its allies, through militias in Iraq, which it has been able to mobilize, through Hezbollah in Lebanon, through militia groups in Syria and beyond. And the reason Qasem Soleimani is so important is he was in charge of all of these proxies. He was the general that expanded Iran's influence around the world. He was able to take advantage of the U.S. invasion of Iraq to spread Iran's influence there. He was able to set up these key relationships to allow Iran to have power in the Persian Gulf. Whenever there was a major incident, when Iran seized a tanker ship or attacked a tanker ship or fired rockets at a Saudi oil facility, you could see the fingerprints of General Qasem Soleimani. He was behind all of the secret operations that Iran used to expand its influence without provoking a direct confrontation. That was always the goal that Iran and Qasem Soleimani tried to play, to find that balance, how far they could push without provoking a direct military response. So now I think Iran is in a position. They're trying to figure out how to respond. We've already been in touch with those Shia militias in Iraq, those militias that were with Qasem Soleimani, directed by Qasem Soleimani. They are mobilizing as we speak, and they have been told that they are in a standby mode, awaiting further orders, awaiting a final decision.
But Richard, you and others have described this. You've described this long list of offenses that he's committed over the years. So that gets back to why now? What's this timing about?
Well, he was in Iraq, and he's shown up at the airport in Baghdad, and that is just also a very bold attack. When someone is at the airport, he was meeting with Shia militia leaders there. He was meeting with some of the Shia militias that had been involved in sieging the U.S. Embassy over the last several days. So he was in a vehicle with one of the top Shia militia officials, and that vehicle was hit by a drone strike, as it was just on the outskirts of the Baghdad International Airport. So he came in. We understand that he came in from Beirut. We're still working on further confirmation from that. He came in. Generally, his movements are incredibly secretive. There had been very, very good intelligence, obviously, tracking down his movement. And as he was in a vehicle with one of these Iraqi Shia militias leaders, he was targeted by a drone strike. An amateur video, which was put out by Hezbollah television, showed about a half dozen flashes in the air, orange balls, which showed that there were multiple strikes on this convoy of vehicles, which contained the Iranian general and the militia leader. So I think you can expect some kind of response in the region. And then we have to also keep in mind that while Iran fights by proxy, the United States does not. So if Iran crosses a threshold, does something that the United States Trump administration finds unacceptable, the United States could very well respond conventionally, and then we're off to the races.
All right. Oh, all right, my royal family. Let me put a freeze to this.
We're going to bring in retired force.
So, now the next video I want to get into, so people can fully understand, who is this man? Who is he? Well, I will get a little snippet of it. Just a snippet. Okay, just a snippet.
Reported extensively throughout the Middle East. She joins us from Erbil, Iraq. Holly, what does the death of Soleimani mean for the tensions between the U.S. and Iran and in the region as a whole?
The Pentagon says its drone strike targeting Major General Qasem Soleimani was aimed at deterring future attacks by Iran. It's part of President Trump's so-called maximum pressure campaign against the Iranians. But there are fears that the killing of Soleimani, a revered figure in Iran and some other places in the Middle East, could see simmering tensions between the U.S. and Iran turn explosive. The loss of Qasem Soleimani is a heavy blow to Iran. He was a war hero, the commander of Iran's feared Quds Force, responsible for secretive foreign operations. He wasn't well known in the United States, but he was one of the most powerful figures in the Middle East, sometimes even touted as a possible future leader of Iran. For America, though, General Soleimani was a problem. In April last year, the U.S. designated the Quds Force a foreign terrorist organization.
We are sending a clear signal, a clear message to Iran's leaders, including Qasem Soleimani and his band of thugs, that the United States is bringing all pressure to bear to stop the regime's outlaw behavior.
The Pentagon says Soleimani was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of American and coalition service members, and also approved the attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad this week. But even many of Soleimani's enemies admitted he was a military genius. He spearheaded Iran's involvement in the Syrian civil war, helping to shore up the Syrian regime's grip on power. And in Iraq, ironically, he and his forces were on the same side as the U.S., fighting against ISIS. By killing Qasem Soleimani, the U.S. has stripped Iran of an inspirational military leader. But it's also further inflamed dangerously high tensions. Iran has already vowed to take, quote, harsh revenge. Holly Williams, CBS News, Erbil, Iraq.
All right, my royal family. Now, what I'm paying attention to about who, let's get over here, who Soleimani is now a martyr. And keep looking at this spiritual. So, look how the divine hand is working. This country wipes out someone that they literally worship as a god. I'm just keeping it like that. Now, we don't look at him as a god, but we got to understand how these people think over there and how the divine hand is so precise in what he is doing that he has touched a nerve in these people that they already have hatred for America. But then you kill somebody that they would give their own life for. They would sacrifice their own family for. That's how extreme these people get down. Some of us don't understand that. Some of these, let's put it this way. People that's in America, that's in the military, don't understand that type of sacrifice. Are you willing? You are fighting for this country. You got a fool as a leader, and he do some foolish shit. Are you so patriotic that you would sacrifice thyself, let alone your family, so you can get all the trinkets or whatever these things that you get, the freedom of whatever in America, which is nothing more than some bullshit? And so these folks are operating very differently than how we operate. And they have the arsenal to fight back. But then what goes in deeper, because we got to speak on prophecy, that there are other countries that despise this motherfucking country. And our Father put Trump in place that people feel some kind of way about him. And it's extreme. You notice it's not in the middle. You extremely like him. You don't give a damn what he do, a damn what he say. You just don't give a damn. Or you hate this motherfucker to your core. Then on top of that, he got the nerve to kill one of your leaders who's been in power for over 20 years? Oh, this is it, my royal family. And so Trump and them thinking, okay, we done to this. They thinking that, but they feeling something else. Because again, Trump don't look too good. See, being a president will age your ass. And Trump liked drama. He came in drama field. He was all up in his feelings about the impeachment. Now check that out. An impeach president in the midst of a war. Boy, the divine hand and truly threw the kitchen sink at your ass. The perfect storm. It may be quiet right now, my royal family. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I think that this stuff is going to retch up around retrograde. There's always some movement around retrograde. Now, I was paying attention to the comments last night that we have a lunar eclipse on the 11th. We know what 11 means. Chaos, disorder, and judgment. And they leader, he was born on March 11th. Ain't that ironic? So we'll see, because when there are things going on in the universe, after that, right after that, there's some stuff that's always popping off. But the first retrograde that we're going to have of the year is going to come out popping. It's going to be intense. Because eventually, according to the scriptures, again, there will be others, people, I mean, they mentioned some, but it's going to be other countries that you be like, damn, them too? This is deep, my royal family. Now, we're going to get into some real juicy stuff. There's some bonus things that I'm introducing to the royal family to show you how Trump is a contradiction, a buffoon and a laughing stock. You got to watch what you say or do, especially on film or just speaking and somebody pick up your voice. You may eat them words later. So, Trump repeatedly claimed in 2011 and 2012 that Obama would start a war with Iran to win re-election. Oh, really, Trump? Well, let's hear what you got to say.
Before the election, which will make it very hard for the Republican to win. Okay? And I've said that, and I predicted that. He doesn't talk to anybody. He'll start a war. Lives would be wasted for no reason.
I got to tell you, that would be the most chilling. That would be the most chilling abuse of power, is what you're describing in American history.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Sometime prior to the election, there'll be some kind of a war started. Instead of working it out, which you could do very easily, and not from weakness. Hey, look, it's called be a tough negotiator. You have a lot of strength. But rather than doing that, I predict that he will start some kind of a war / skirmish or conflict. And will be very hard then, because you remember how popular Bush was right after the World Trade Center. I mean, nobody could have beaten him. George Washington could not have beaten him for about 2 months. And then he decided to go in to get Iraq, which, by the way, had nothing to do with knocking down the World Trade Center, but these are minor details. But, you remember how popular he was. Well, I predict that that's what's going to happen with Obama.
That is one of the most frightening predictions. And by the way, you may not be wrong.
Okay?
That's pretty frightening.
And then they won't be talking about Romney or Gingrich or Santorum. They'll be talking about our great president and our great leader.
That would be the single greatest abuse of power
election,
you're describing.
And then we'll be in a mess, but you'll have the election, and he'll win the election if that happens, and it would be terrible. But I've actually said that. I've actually stated that, and I state it to you right now. That's the way. I think that's frankly, because I really believe that the Republicans will win the election quite easily if it's the right person, et cetera, and if there's no third party.
But why are you not, let me ask you, honestly, why are you, at this late date, and you've had an opportunity, you've watched every debate, because I've interviewed you afterwards.
Right.
All right, you saw what happened in Iowa. We're now headed to New Hampshire. The process is fully underway.
Right.
You know the strengths and weaknesses. We can all, regurgitate all of them on every candidate. I'm sure you make decisions very early on about certain contenders on Celebrity Apprentice. You've got to have a gut feeling for who you like and don't like, who you
I
get
have
support
that
and not
feeling.
support.
I just haven't revealed it yet, and I do have a gut feeling, and I have a feeling. And at some point over the not too distant future, I'm going to be making a decision.
Yeah. All right. Do you think you'll do it before? South Carolina seems to be key. You're going to do it before that?
I think so. Before South Carolina, maybe. Yeah.
And there's one person you're leaning.
All right.
Hey guys, it's Abdul for the good folks over at Leon Tailoring, 809 North Delaware.
Shut that off.
He starts a war in Iran.
Let's shut that down. Now, isn't that ironic that he would make that type of statement? When you go back into history, isn't that deep? Well, I'm going to rub it in a little bit more. True royal style. I can't help myself. Juicy. What Trump gonna say now?
You gonna stop them if you're president?
I wouldn't let them have a nuke.
Now, how'd you stop it?
I would do what I had to do.
Which is?
They will not have a nuke.
What do you mean, level them?
I will stop. They will not have a nuke.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate, to start a war in order to get elected, and I believe that's going to happen, would be an outrage.
Are you familiar with General Soleimani?
Yes. Go ahead. Give me a little. Go ahead. Tell me.
He runs the Quds forces.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Do you expect
and I
his
think the
behavior?
Kurds, by the way, have been horribly mistreated by us.
No, not the Kurds, the Quds forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Quds forces, the bad guys.
Right.
Do you expect his behavior to
I
change
thought
as
you
a
said
result?
Kurds.
No.
Because the Iranians like to taunt us because they don't have, like, respect for our leaders.
With Iran, when they circle our beautiful destroyers with their little boats and they make gestures at our people that they shouldn't be allowed to make, they will be shot out of the water. The Iranian government masks a corrupt dictatorship behind the false guise of a democracy. If they restart their nuclear program, they will have bigger problems than they have ever had before. I would advise Iran not to start their nuclear program. I would advise them very strongly. If they do, there will be very severe consequence. The radical regime in Iran, it is a radical regime. They do bad, bad things. Iran knows if they misbehave, they're on borrowed time. As long as Iran's menacing behavior continues, sanctions will not be lifted. They will be tightened. If Iran does something, they'll be hit like they've never been hit before. I mean, we have things that we're looking at. I want to have peace. I like peace. And Iran should want peace more than anybody. We will not avert our eyes from a regime.
All right, my royal family. So we heard what this nut had to say. And let me refresh this thing here. I want to leave it where it is. So there's one more thing I got to drop on the royal family that I want to share with y'all. So let's go over here. So today, Trump was pissed because he didn't like what Black Twitter had to say. So he, Trump can't help himself because he greasy and grimy. This is 3:51 a.m. of this year. I demand that Black Twitter stop making memes about World War III because I'm sending all y'all over there. You dirty motherfucker. Fuck you. But what do I see here? I see 17 twice, 17 likes, 17 hearts. Overcoming the enemy and a complete victory. All right. Our Father is always there. He presents himself in this walk. So Trump, you can demand whatever you want to demand of the royal family. They're going to drag you. They're going to expose you. But you are helping us greatly, Trump. We truly need you for 4 more years. And the mission will be totally accomplished. So whoever comes behind, your scary, weary looking ass, because you ain't looking right at all. America will never be the same again, my royal family. Again and again and again, I keep saying everything that we will see will be in biblical proportions. We are really in the space and time that we are in is amazing. That some of us will still be living to see Yahweh Shah grace the earth. That's what I'm looking at. And then somebody will say, well, True Roy, what where you coming from? I'm going to say what I said again. We follow these prophecies real close. Certain benchmarks. Now, we don't know when things are going to happen exactly, but when a prophecy is fulfilled, it is our duty and responsibility to first and foremost to take care of our immediate situation, get our house in order, minister and proselytize to our family and dear friends and stay very firm on our position, develop some type of discipline, and we need to be praying more than ever for full, total protection of the royal family. I'm not making light of this at all. Now, I will banter some, but I'm a very serious individual. And I'm learning as I go to my royal family. And some of y'all know exactly what's going on, but that doesn't mean anybody lesser or greater or anything like that. I'm on my spiritual walk. Many of us are on spiritual walk, and some ain't at all. They don't give a damn one way or the other. But I do appreciate the ones that take the time to listen to me, minister to me, continue to put those scriptures there. And I need guidance because I'm out here using my voice. And I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mislead my family. And if I saying anything wrong, correct me. I rarely get bent out of shape. Rarely. Because I have a lot coming at me. And I thank you, my kings, for embracing your true leadership. I really do. And I thank my queens also for embracing yours too, because you are birthing, our queens are birthing these royals. So we are the first teachers too. And there are really beautiful, divine people in our families. And again, keep listening to them royals. But we are not to partake in any of this. We have a lot to do with this, but we are not to be inclusive. And we will see some of ours that are. There's nothing simply we can do. They have made their choice. So Trump, you were being about that life. And all your rhetoric and all whatever that thing is that y'all do in America. When it's all said and done, you, Trump, and your folks will have full understanding who truly Yahweh is. You will feel a force that you can never, ever fathom. Never, ever. But you will continue to mock and disrespect him and the royal family. Because my royal family, even in wartime, the enemy is always making sure they mess over us. And that's where you slip and fall. That you are not focused on what needs to be focused on at hand because you worried about us. And that's where your ass always get caught slipping, messing over the royal family, making sure our lives are totally disrupted in this shithole. See, you're not taking care of your immediate situation, America. And by the way, America, how do you dismiss 16 bullets? I ain't forgot. I ain't forgot it all. There'll be more to come, my royal family. So render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And it's always my royal family. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.